Welcome to the Skeptic's Guide to Emergency Medicine, eh? How's it going, you hoser?
Good stuff.
Meet him, greet him, treat him, and street him. We got theme music. We got theme music for this podcast. Ready?
I just learned that.
Alright. So today's date is June 3rd, 2013, and we're here at the Canadian Association of Emergency Physicians meeting. And I've got a guest, host of a hoser. No, hoser of a host.
Hoser of a host.
Hoser of a host. Hoser. Brent, why don't you say hello?
Hi.
How's it going, eh?
Oh, pretty good, eh?
And of course, I'm your hoser of a host, Ken Milne. And you know, the title of today's podcast is Canadian Foam. Brent, what's foam stand for?
Foam. It's stuff that grows on top of our Canadian beer.
Right here? Yep.
And Canadian free open access medication.
Exactly. So that's what we're here to talk about today on the Skeptic's Guide to Emergency Medicine, episode number 40, Canadian FOAMed. And you know, we're always trying to cut that KT window down, eh, from 10 years, you know, like being stuck in Toronto traffic, eh, and down to getting it through the drive-through window at Timmy's. Few minutes at the most.
Yeah.
And so we have some guests today, and they're going to come in and talk to us about their own Canadian foam. We'll call it like their own homebrew. Homebrew. Okay.
Good stuff.
So why don't we call our first guest out, and we'll have him join us on the show. Okay. So why don't we call our first guest, Chris? Why don't you come on up? Okay. So yeah, we're going to start with our first guest, eh? And so. Oh, there he is. What a hoser. So why don't you introduce yourself, Chris, to the audience?
All right. My name's Chris Bond. I have the...
Oh, like James Bond or something, eh? This is one classy
cool.
show. Yeah, I like it.
And I run the Sock Mob blog, which is...
Sock Mob?
Sock Mob.
Sock Mob. We went to spared no expense. Check this out.
Oh, wow, you got it right there.
Nice.
So Sock Mob is the standing on the corner, minding my own business blog. And as you can see there, the #1 risk factor for penetrating trauma. And
who's that guy? Are you bottling him?
Yeah, that's bottling. You guys know what that is, hey?
Oh, I do that all the time in Canada.
So listen, like, we haven't established yet that he's Canadian, eh? So
yeah.
We prepared a test here. So we've got a question for you. Okay, and then we know you're Canadian. What's double mean?
Well, double is when you go to the Timmy's drive-thru and you get coffee, 2 cream, 2 sugar.
Oh yeah, he's
pass.
Oh yeah,
pass.
There you go. Okay, give him a 2. All right. So you can carry on then and talk about this sock mob you've got there. It sounds like a bunch of people with socks, like a whole mob of them.
No, not really. More like when you take a beer bottle and you just break it on the sidewalk and then you stab somebody with it.
And just to be clear, that would be bad.
That would be bad.
That would be wrong. We don't endorse that.
No, we don't endorse that. But what I like to talk about on my blog is pseudo-axioms or things and dogma, things that we do all the time in the emergency department.
I have a dog, yeah.
Things we do all the time, but maybe not the best evidence for them out there. So I like to look into those things, kind of like yourself, Ken, and kind of like Newman.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so you've proven that you're a Canadian. You've got this great blog and this great site here. Do you have any like non-Canadian free open access to medical education sites that you like to go to, or non-Canadian foam?
Non-Canadian foam. Well, this picture here would be me and Scott Weingart in Las Vegas, and my Canadian foam, or my non-Canadian foam, is the MCRIT blog, which is one of the best ones out there. No dude about it.
No, he's an American, eh? So it's probably a pretty watered down podcast or something, right?
Well, most of the time they are, but not with this case.
No, it's good stuff?
It's really good stuff.
Really good stuff.
Cutting-edge critical care stuff.
I've been thinking about this guy, I've been looking into this guy, and here, let's see if you know what this means. What's that mean? I'm getting my winky back. Oh yeah, this guy's famous. He's got a lot of YouTube hits. Every once in a while that my winky comes back, and I think of him, because he made this great YouTube video. Could you tell us about
the winky back?
The winky back.
So yeah, back in med school I made this video called Diagnosis Winky Back, and it was kind of a spoof of Sexy Back by Justin Timberlake.
Oh, Justin. Yeah, we got a Justin up here too. Yeah, he's Justin T.
Justin T.
Not Timberlake. No, Trudeau.
And so it's basically a video about second-degree heart block type 1, and a good way to remember it.
Excellent, excellent. Well, you've been a fabulous guest, so have it Timmy's on us.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Sweet. Okay, so good guest?
He was okay, pretty good.
Okay.
We might get better.
You know what we could tell him? Take off, eh? We got another guest. Take off.
You take off.
No, don't take off your hoser. We got another guest.
Next.
Okay, so we're going to have our second guest here, eh? And, you know, Brent, we spared no expense. And this is about social media and information technology, cutting that KT window to a drive-through time frame. And so we have a guest via iPad, hotspotted to a phone. So Brent, why do you introduce our next hoser, eh?
Oh yeah, he's a real great Canadian, eh? And it goes by the name Elisha Targonski. Targonski.
Man, that guy can ski. Yeah. Okay. So we have to prove that he's Canadian, eh? Because he can't be on this Canadian Foam episode unless he can prove that he's Canadian. So Elisha, can you show me the Canadian international sign for starting a fight?
You want to drop him?
Oh yeah, baby. Yeah. Nice. Okay. So let's move right along because you know clearly this guy doesn't have much time. He's wearing like a Leafs hat.
Oh.
You know they haven't won in 46 years.
He'll be off of this podcast in no time.
Those are always next year. Eh? Okay, so why don't you tell us about your CAEP site? We've got it up there right now on our screen here. So why don't you tell us about your chart review?
So I'm the author, the only author of the chart review. It is essentially it's a case-based CAEP learning site. So
we like cases.
Sorry, go on.
Oh, we just like cases, especially the cases of beer, eh?
Oh yeah, 2-4 Moosehead.
Yes.
So basically, I just started it to kind of reflect on cases I learned from, and I thought it was a good way to kind of retain the information. And then I told a couple friends about it, and they checked it out, and then it kind of blossomed from there. And you know, once you get on Twitter and you meet friends on Twitter, then they check out your site and give you feedback, and it kind of became mostly still a case-based thing, but I think it's kind of turned out into something nice.
So like what you're saying is that you do this chart review on your own, but you don't Twitter by yourself?
No, I actually have secretaries twittering for me.
Oh,
they tweet for me.
Minions, I like to call them. Okay, so
unfortunately, no minions just yet. But I should say that all the cases I include on my site have been modified from the real thing. They're basically I use cases that I've seen or my colleagues have seen as inspiration for building a case that might be good for some good learning.
Excellent, excellent. So that's some really nice, fine, primo Canadian foam, eh? So you got some other foam there, some non-Canadian foam that you would recommend to the SGEM listeners, eh?
Sure. Yeah, I have to say that probably the first blog I started, the first podcast I started listening to when I was a resident was the ER Cast podcast by Rob Orman, and I still think it's one of my favorites. He's a nice guy, a friendly guy, and he's got some great foam.
So like he's like an honorary hoser, eh? We could like send him a toque or something?
Maybe a bracelet.
I think that's a great idea. I think we should send him a toque.
Yeah, we'd have to water down the toque though, eh? Because you know they've only got 4% education there. We got 5% education. 5% education here. Okay, well thanks very much for being on the show. So take off your hoser and we'll get our next guest.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Your pleasure? My pleasure. My pleasure. Okay, welcome back to the show, eh? And yeah, how's it going? So we've got another hoser on the show, another homebrewed foam creator, and Eve, lovely to have you on the show. We couldn't get at him. How's it going, Eve?
Oh, it's going pretty well, thanks.
Yeah, good stuff. So, what's that?
You had to run in with the snake.
Oh yeah, no. So Eve, why don't you tell us about your foam project?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a...
Oh, we didn't prove that she's Canadian.
No.
Okay, here's the test. Say, roll up the rim to win.
Roll up the rim to win.
She's Canadian.
She's got it.
Okay, alright, so carry on there, Eve. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, so I'm a second year medical student, and a lot of what I do with foam is learn from it, because there's lots of great stuff being produced, but I also run a blog here on my own. It's called Manuet Corday, and mostly what I try to do is find really common questions that medical students have and come across that seem kind of silly to everybody else who's
Like,
part
where
of
can
the
I park
training.
for free at the hospital?
Yeah,
Because
serious
those are
questions.
really important things to medical students.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
so,
what are you talking about? What kind of questions are you talking about on your blog?
So something that came up the other day was, you know, if you have a pretty basic laceration, how do you decide whether to suture it or not to suture it? Pretty simple questions, but that there's some interesting evidence on and you can read around. So I'm trying to bring
So
some
wound
of
care, wound care in the emergency department?
Sure, yeah,
Sure,
there's
yeah,
a little
yeah.
bit of everything. Every shift that I work on, there's always something to learn. And so I try to take small concepts and read around them and come up with something for my classmates.
So what kind of feedback are you getting from your blog there?
So it's going pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's lots of my classmates that read it and getting some comments from people even in other countries. So it's it's going
Nice,
pretty well.
nice. So you're leading the charge from the medical student standpoint. Yeah, pretty cool, eh?
She's the boss.
She's the bomb. So who do you listen to?
One of the blogs that kind of was some of the inspiration for this is The Short Coat.
Oh, the short coat, yeah.
She's been out in Canada before, I think.
We've heard of her, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everybody. So Lauren runs an awesome blog and.
Can you do her accent for us just once?
Once, no, I got the, I got the,
No
I got
way,
the Canadian
no way,
name
no
up
way.
there. Nothing
She's got that southern accent.
Yeah, the southern accent. No,
You got nothing.
I can't.
You got
yeah.
nothing. You got nothing. Okay,
Can't get rid of this.
we'll have to have her on the show, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you listen to Lauren in her short coat?
Yes, in a shortcut.
Yeah, very good, very good. Okay, so do you have any final words of wisdom, maybe something that you want to tell to the medical students out there about foam and Canadian foam?
Yeah, so I'd say just get involved in whatever way you can.
You don't have to talk to me, you can talk to the camera. Just look right in the camera.
Right.
Look right in the camera,
It's
you even say
beautiful.
foam,
Foam.
foam, foam. Okay,
Yeah.
take off your hoser. All right, next guest.
Done.
Okay, welcome back there, to the show, the Great White North Canadian FOAMed edition on the SGEM number 40. And we are very pleased to have a non-hoser. Can you tell she's a non-hoser there, Brent?
You get the Starbucks.
Starbucks
sign.
I don't know,
Starbucks
man.
sign.
I don't know. She must be like, in administration or academia or something like
I
that.
hear she likes flipping things around.
Oh, does she?
I do.
Okay, well, maybe we should stop the banter and say, Stella! No? Stella. Nice to see you, eh?
Nice to be on the show.
So Stella, why don't you introduce yourself to the SGEM audience?
So my name is Stella Yiu, and I'm a collection director in Ottawa. I run a blog that has an
Ottawa. The
online
capital.
curriculum for clerks that rotate through the emergency medicine rotation with us.
Sorry, I wasn't listening. You said something about flipping. What do you do?
So the website contains some material that they're delivered in short video segments that are narrated and annotated. The thought is maybe the clerkship teachers can now use this to deliver the core content beforehand. So during the class time, the students can use the knowledge for application instead of just having the teacher deliver the content. So called
She
the flipped
sounds pretty
classroom.
smart, eh?
Yeah. So like the homework comes before the class?
Exactly.
Nice.
Just
You're
like
a
the
tough
Khan
teacher.
Academy.
Right. You've like turned medical education around. We're trying to turn it on its head here, but yeah, you've turned it around. That's great. Give them the homework first, the
Yeah.
assignment, and then they come prepared. Nice, nice. So we forgot every person we've had on the show today.
How do we know?
How do we know she's Canadian?
Starbucks.
Starbucks. Oh, you know what? Okay, so if you had a Tim Hortons cup and you were done with it, you were done drinking it, what would you do with the Tim Hortons cup? Prove that you're Canadian, eh?
We do this.
Yes! Yes! She is Canadian.
Passes.
She is rolling up the rim to win. Yeah, for our national symbol, the beaver. Right? National symbol, the beaver, right? Yeah. Yeah, he works hard.
Good
Yeah.
animal.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
stuff.
You win?
Uh-huh.
I got nothing. Oh yeah, every cup's a winner. It says play again on mine.
Oh.
Okay, so you've told us about this flippin' EM classroom you've got. You got any other like non-Canadian foam stuff?
Yeah, I subscribe to the Academic Life in Emergency Medicine blog, written by Michelle Lynn and a lot other of educators.
Excellent blog.
Good one.
Yeah, no, good one. You hit that one out of the park there, eh? So Stella, we're here at CAEP 2013 in Starbucks, yeah, Vancouver. Where are we going to do 2014?
It's in Ottawa.
Ottawa. Oh, Canada. Oh yeah, it's at the Capitol. So what's the theme for next year's CAEP conference?
It's called Capitalizing on Excellence.
Capitalizing, excellent. So we'll have
Novel,
yeah, very good, very good. So well, here, have a Timbit, and we'll see everyone at CAEP 2014. Okay, take off your hoser. Yeah, take off your hoser. Okay, so we've had a few guests on there. Excellent guests.
Great guests.
Yeah. So now I'm going to ask you, Brent, as a host hoser here, guest host hoser. Why don't you tell me about your foam project, your Canadian foam project there?
Boring EM. If you haven't read Boring EM, you
It's
probably should.
It's not boring. No,
Not
it's
boring.
not. Yeah.
We talk about some boring stuff in a really non-boring way. It's
So-
edutainment to make you smarter.
So would it be like an oxymoron, boring EM? Because EM is exciting. I love
it is a
EM.
little bit of an oxymoron. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
Totally.
I'm not calling you moron then.
No,
An
only
oxymoron.
sometimes.
Yeah.
That's right. And I think I've got probably the coolest logo. Look how
Excellent.
cool that guy is.
I love that logo, and you could dress him up. You know?
I put some Santa hat on with Christmas.
Nice.
Easter bunny puff on.
Nice. So like the Google logo
It's pretty much like Google except for foam.
for foam. Yeah.
For foam.
Yeah. So you are one of the premier can foam sites. You are one of the premier can foam sites. So
I like to think so.
No, it's
I like to think
excellent,
so.
excellent. So what do you? I know our listeners would like to know. What do you listen to?
One of my favorite sites, and this is partially just to learn things. If you want to look up some foam and you're like, well, where do I go? You gotta go to Google Foam. Google Foam is like
Google in the foam.
but for foam.
You don't have to do this when you're doing it.
So
it
you
just
go to-
looks funny,
it
right?
does.
Google the foam.
Yeah, you want to Google things on
can Google the foam like
Google. You find all sorts of stuff, but if you want to find foam, Google Foam is the place to go. It's not an American site. I know we're talking about a lot of American guys.
yeah.
I'm going to keep it Canadian.
Excellent, eh?
Our buddy Todd Rain
Yes, Todd. Yep.
came over some Vancouver sushi.
Yes.
Some
Some raw
fish.
fishy things. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's something fishy about that stuff we
Shrimp
had
and
last
stuff.
night. Yeah.
And he's got this great site just to find all the foam resources you need, so you should check it out.
Excellent. So I guess I'd like to talk about my site, the Skeptic's Guide to Emergency Medicine site. I mean, people should be familiar with it because, well, you're watching this YouTube video and listening to the podcast, eh? But, I don't know if people know that I got that don't panic. That's the first rule from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Okay, that's the first
42.
42, but it's the actual answer to life is 42. And we are trying to cut that KT window from that 10 years of Toronto traffic down to that drive-through window stuff. And yes, please send me the angry emails from T-Dot. Okay, so, and then I'd have to say my favorite non-Canadian foam, eh? My favorite non-Canadian foam would have to be the Rick and Jerry Show.
The Rick and Jerry Show.
Ricky Jerry Show, yeah. Rick
Oh,
Picotta
good
and
guys.
Jerome Hoffman.
Yeah.
Leaders, decades worth of entertainment, decades. And the whole concept is free, and I know theirs is a subscription service, but to the American residents, it is free. So the American residents get it free. So I thought I could mention it here. And who knew two weird guys talking about emergency medicine could like take off, eh? No, who knew? No, I know. Yeah, I know. So that's my non-Canadian foam, the Rick and Jerry Show, Emergency Medicine Abstract. Good work, boys. Okay, so with our fancy schmancy AV equipment there, Brent, I've got a quote up there from Joe Lex all about foam.
Hero.
Could you go through that with us?
Absolutely, Joe Lex he's a hero of emergency medicine education.
Number one.
Absolutely.
Number one.
So number one, if you want to know how we practice medicine, 5 years ago, read a textbook. If you want to know 2 years ago, try a journal. How about right now? Go to a conference.
Hey, like this one, eh?
CAEP
2014. 2014, yeah, go to a good conference like CAEP, yeah.
And if you want to know what we're going to be doing tomorrow, check our stuff out.
Check out foam, and Canadian foam, and why don't you ask them about any foam out there that is listening today?
If there's any foam out there, especially foam produced in Canada, that would like to get featured on Boring EM, make sure you send me. Ken will put my email address up on the show notes there. Send me your sites, and we'll get you some hits. Look forward to helping Canadians brew their own foam.
Homegrown brew. Yeah, brew in that good foam here and let it bubble up to the top. Yeah, excellent idea. Okay. Okay, so that ends the most excellent Skeptic's Guide to Emergency Medicine, the SGEM, episode number 40. I almost said episode FOAM. Episode 40, Canadian FOAMed. And so we always have the Keener contest at the end. And I was thinking long and hard, what could the Keener contest be? And so the Keener contest for this week's podcast is, who was Tim Hortons? Okay, the first person, and he was not the Prime Minister of Canada, okay, all Americans. Okay, who was Tim Hortons? And if you are the first person to tell me, send me an email, use Keener contest in the subject line, we will send you a cool skeptical prize. And that is it. So, like I always say on the Skeptic's Guide, be skeptical of anything you hear, even if you heard it on the Skeptic's Guide to Emergency Medicine. Ooh, cuckoo, ooh, cuckoo. Ooh, cuckoo, ooh, cuckoo. Take off, eh?
Cheers.